If ignorance is bliss, then knowledge must be misery. And no one knows this to be more true in some circumstances than the so-called smartest MBTI types themselves. INTPs, INTJs, INFPs, and INFJs are ranked among the most intelligent, and, to them, being smarter than average definitely offers some leverage in their success as a person. But how does it affect their contentment in life? Welcome, or welcome back, psychos. Before we get into it, we'd love it if you liked and subscribed to our channel, as well as to click the post notification bell so you never miss a video. Number 1. Overanalyzing. A notorious intuitive habit, overanalyzing can become seriously detrimental to overall happiness in life. There is a term called the Dunning-Kruger effect that explains the cognitive bias whereby people with higher intelligence doubt their abilities, while the most incompetent ones are the most confident. A great example of this phenomenon is true for some of the most intelligent people throughout history, like INTP Albert Einstein, INTJ Nikola Tesla, and INFP William Shakespeare, who all had a difficult road to their success and findings. Analyzing decisions is a natural and healthy way to learn from past mistakes. However, overanalyzing just leads to self-doubt, unnecessary criticisms, and self-manipulation to the point of not being able to even reflect on the situation. This comes from the idea that nothing is ever quite good enough because they know they have the potential to do it near perfectly. Number 2. They can lack true friendships. People who are considered smarter than others, whether it's noticeable or not, tend to be more inclined to having deeper conversations. They much rather discuss topics that they will learn from or can teach about. Topics that have a certain level of depth, introspection, and, well, intelligence. However, in today's society, small talk and gossip are the highlights of most conversations, which is completely unappealing to these MBTI types because their brains are just operating on a more profound level. This is a great trait when they are able to have meaningful conversations with like-minded or open-minded people. However, it can be very difficult to socialize on a day-to-day basis, at the office, at gatherings, or even on dates with certain personality types. In fact, according to social behavior researchers, it tends to be more painful for a person with a higher IQ to socialize than it is for them to just be alone. Number 3. They over-reflect on life. Reflecting on the past and utilizing lessons for the future is an important and healthy part of growing as an individual. Luckily, most intelligent MBTI types are able to use their reflecting tendencies to advance in areas that others seem to struggle in. However, the negative side to this habit comes when they overindulge in this reflection period in hopes of finding the proper meaning or result of everything. For example, asking questions like how we all got here and why we eventually die are natural curiosities, yet people usually brush them off shortly after. For intuitive and introspective types, these curiosities really weigh on them from time to time, and the act of constant analysis can lead to overwhelming bouts of anxiety or depression. Although the topics aren't always that extreme, more intelligent people can overanalyze the thoughts that don't deserve more than a few minutes of questioning because, in reality, we can't change the past and we can barely change the future, so sometimes it's best if they just let it go. Number 4. They are people pleasers. People-pleasing is a hard trait to deal with and can ultimately lead to unrealistic expectations of self. Like the saying goes, if everyone likes you, then you probably don't like yourself. People-pleasing can make us constantly feel like we owe ourselves to other people while putting our own needs on the back burner. And that's exactly what these intelligent types can end up doing. People pleasers in a workplace setting, for example, can pose as being especially dangerous because the people pleaser will not know when to stop taking on tasks, creating an unbearable burden on their lives. For some types, this can also pertain to looks and status. Constantly caring how others view you mentally and visually can lead to low self-esteem, wrong assumptions, and ultimately hold you back from living a happy life. Number 5. They push themselves too hard. Speaking of pleasing people, these smarter types can end up pushing themselves way past their own limits for the sake of personal success. It's as if they feel the need to please that part of themselves that they know they can do more, without taking into account mental health, personal space, and emotional sanity. Sure, smarter people may put their needs on the back burner to please others, but the high expectations they set for themselves is right there on their priority list. By pushing themselves a little too hard, it can actually have the opposite of their desired result by actually negatively affecting their overall outcome and quality of work. Pushing themselves to the limit can also lead them to overestimate their abilities, and then get disappointed in themselves when we don't reach those unrealistic expectations. Number 6. They lack rational decisions. We can't speak for all of the more intelligent types, but sometimes even the most rational personalities can end up making rather irrational decisions. Rationality is manifested through mental clarity and coherence, two things that require rather simple thinking. People of higher intelligence tend not to completely trust their ability to make decisions because they always have the fear in the back of their minds that it may not be the best decision. They can see all angles of a situation and how certain actions can pose different results, and that alone can make decision-making rather overwhelming, holding them back from thinking clearly. This, in turn, then leads them to sometimes make the wrong decision, resulting in them overanalyzing the next decision they are faced with. The thought of just going with it is also not an option in their eyes, which makes them feel as if they are responsible to control every situation they are presented with. Number 7. They may have poor physical health. Once again, we can't speak for all overly intelligent types, but sometimes people of higher IQ tend to lack physical intelligence, which is the ability to read your body to know what it needs and wants. Even hypersensitive types can end up unconsciously neglecting their body's cues, like taking a rest when their body needs it, eating a proper diet, and tweaking their lifestyle to benefit their physical health. Often enough, smarter people tend to view their physical health as a secondary priority because they are so heavily involved in all of the obligations they've made themselves responsible for. Plus, spending so much time in their heads can make connecting with the physical body rather foreign, often requiring some type of concentration to know what they physically need. Number 8. They prefer to be alone. Despite the fact that the 4 most intelligent types just so happen to be introverted, highly intelligent people in general tend to be more content with being alone. Since they're so focused on everything they have going on in their busy lives, preferring to learn, explore, and navigate the world on their own, these types are too focused on achieving their goals. This can lead them to easily turn down opportunities to spend time with other people. Plus, as mentioned above, the thought of socializing for some smart people seems exhausting and not even worth it, especially if it's not a meaningful conversation, which is hard to come by. This can be a downside, however, because, after all, socialization is a natural and healthy part of lifestyle. Number 9. They have high expectations for people. A major reason why these smarter types want to be alone has to do with their high expectations of people. Because these people think deeply about topics and have great common sense, they automatically expect that from people around them, which, as we all know, is nothing but false hope. Because of this, these intelligent personality types are disappointed time and time again, day after day, and you can just imagine the frustration that comes along with that. It may sound harsh, but at times, it can feel like they're dealing with toddlers all day, without the forgivable cuteness and innocence. Number 10. They experience more stress. Considering the first 9 points, I'm sure this doesn't come as a surprise, but it is one worth discussing. Actively reducing stress is so crucial for personality types of higher intelligence in order to feel true happiness in life. Through overanalyzing their decisions, overworking themselves, not having or wanting anyone to vent to, and holding an overwhelming view of the world, it makes sense that these personality types would be more stressed. Yet, de-stressing is much easier said than done since they are always willing to push themselves to that next level. Even if these people were to take a long vacation, it wouldn't be out of the norm for their minds to be racing about all the things they need to get done once it's over and what they could be doing if they weren't relaxing. Still, maybe it's time to take a load off, you clever buggers. Alright, psychos, that's it for today. Before you go, Let us know in the comments below if you think being of higher intelligence has caused you some misery in the past. Also, make sure to leave us a like, share with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel so that you never miss a video.